Hi anybody listening, back with a weekly video. This week I'm going to break down the fight between Murtazaliev and Tszyu and recap last week's bets, and as always put a bet in for this week. Right, the first thing to do is take a look at the strengths and weaknesses of each fighter. First I'm going to start off with Bakram. I'm just going to call him that because I can't be bothered saying his full name all the time. There's going to be some clips on screen, and first we'll start with his strengths and then we'll look into his weaknesses. Then we'll do the same for Tim after that. Right, so he has his most recent fight with Jack Kulkai, which he won via 11th round stoppage. Bakram's a hammer. He has to be on the front foot. He's got decent power in his shots. He really loads up and commits to his power. Couldn't find a great deal of fight film out there on him, but everything I did find indicates he always fights the same way. And here's Bakram's big weakness. When he's pushed back, he can't fight on the back foot. He has to at least hold centre ring. His base is terrible. He gets off balance when he's going backwards. He has to be in that centre or pushing forward. Now it's time to look at the strengths and weaknesses of Tszyu. First we'll start off with his strengths. Then at the end we'll have a little look at how the fighter that I think is going to win can exploit the weaknesses of the other fighter. I mean, after these clips it might come pretty obvious who I'm going to pick, but we'll go through it anyway. Now it's time to look at Tszyu. He's a pressure fighter. He can counter off the front foot. Very well balanced. There's no telling on his shots. He doesn't give them away. He doesn't give any indication when he's going to throw. He keeps the pressure on. He's got a pretty steady all-round game. I didn't really find any glaring weaknesses in Tszyu. If I had to be picky and look for something, it was the fact that maybe he's too patient early on sometimes. I don't know if that may be part of his plan to break fighters down, let them wear out early, but sometimes he is a bit too patient if I had to be picky. My pick to win this fight is Tszyu, and I'll go through the reasons why now. So let's look at some fight film of Tszyu now, and I'll explain why I think he's going to win this fight. I think the fight will start most likely close early, but Tim will put him straight on the back foot. If you look at the Fundora fight here, obviously before the horrendous cut, Tim was finding the ways to push him back, no problem. When he did attack the taller fighter, he would never do it from outside of range and get off balance. He'd close the gap with his feet, using feints, foot feints and hand control. You see here, he pushes in and works on the inside. He didn't go backwards against Fundora, which was playing into Fundora's game. This is just some footage of a relentless Tszyu going in for the finish, but never getting too sloppy and wild. I'm just going to leave this footage play whilst I talk in the background. It's a shame this fight didn't go a bit longer actually against Ocampo, because he was a similar height to Bakram. We could have seen a little bit more how Tim set up, but he just knocked him straight out in the first round. So anyway, so the way I think this fight will play out is early rounds. You're going to get Tim pushing him back, looking to break him down slowly, as he always seems to do, usually patient, keeps his balance, pushes back with an educated jab, doesn't lose his shape like Bakram. Anytime Bakram does go on the attack, he loses balance when he overcommits on his power shots. I see rounds 5 to 8 is where Tim will start pushing him back, often landing to the body and hitting him to the head as well. The gap will close significantly by then, and I think Tim will start to take the lead in the fight. I haven't decided whether I think Tim stops him between 9 and 12 or Bakram makes it a point, but either way I think it'll be quite a clear victory for Tim in the end. Right, this is a bet for this week, as every week I do a YouTube bet. Tszyu to win, most punches landed. Adam Azim fight not to go a distance. Anthony Yard by TKO, over plus money. Last week's bet, the YouTube bet, would have landed because you get the void on the Ben Whittaker. So it was the Sky most punches landed and Nakatani no distance, which both came in pretty easy. Ben Whittaker was disgusting. I don't know what was wrong with him. His gas tank just wasn't there. This was against a fighter who had a 4-year break from the sport, taking drugs, been in jail, almost died from an overdose, and he looked the fitter fighter on the night. The betting challenge that we did in the group, that had basically the same bets, apart from it had Ben Whittaker and most punches landed, which now means that was a loss. because adding the most punches landed to the Ben Whittaker bet on the other one turns it into a 3-way bet rather than a 5-way, so it doesn't void the draw, unfortunately, even though he did land more punches and it was a draw. As always, thanks to anybody watching and listening. Appreciate it. I'll see you next week.